Tensions are on the rise again between the United States and Russia after U.S. spy drone crashed following an encounter with a Russian fighter jet. The incident took place over the Black Sea in Eastern Europe. The U.S. military says a Russian warplane clipped one of its Reaper drones, forcing the U.S. to bring it down. Washington later summoned the Russian ambassador to discuss the incident. The Pentagon criticized Russia for how the intercept occurred.
Several times before the collision, the Su-27s dumped fuel on and flew in front of the MQ-9 in a reckless and unprofessional manner. This incident demonstrates a lack of competence in addition to being unsafe and unprofessional.
NBC News global security reporter Dan Luce joins us now for more on this. Dan, the National Security Council's John Kirby says these sorts of aerial intercepts are not uncommon, but this one was noteworthy, he says, because of the way it took place. Tell us more about the U.S.'s version of events here, and what exactly are these Reaper drones?
That's right. So the Pentagon's version of this is that this was a relatively routine mission for this intelligence gathering drone, right? It's a very slow moving plane with a propeller at the tail. It was used a lot in Afghanistan and Iraq, and it's really designed to pick up imagery and intelligence flying over an area. It also can be armed with missiles, but the U.S. is suggesting this was on a kind of intelligence mission. And instead of a kind of routine intercept, the U.S. is saying that the Russian fighter jets flew in this very unsafe manner and clipped the propeller of this drone, and they had to crash the drone into the Black Sea. And they're saying that this was all basically the fault of the Russians, and Russia a different version of events.
Tell us a little bit about that. What is Russia saying took place here?
Right. So the Russian ambassador was summoned to the State Department, and there was a very strong protest conveyed by the U.S. But the Russians are saying that this was a provocative act, that it was near Russian territory, and that the drone somehow didn't have a transponder on. Here's what the Russian ambassador had to say.
This drone can carry a few bombs. You see that what will be reaction of United States if you see such Russian drone very close, for example, to San Francisco or New York? What will be reaction of United States? We don't want any confrontation between the United States and Russian Federation. We are in favor of pragmatic relations for the interest of the people of the United States and Russian Federation.
So noteworthy there that he says the Russians don't want a confrontation. And I think the tone from the administration here in Washington has also been pretty restrained. I think everyone sees there's very high stakes here, and it's a reminder of just how dangerous the situation is with so many military assets all operating in close proximity.
Dan, do we know where this drone, or at least what's left of it, is right now? Has the U.S. been able to retrieve it? Is it in Russian custody? And if the Russians have it, how big of a national security threat might that pose?
Well, first, that's a key question, and the Pentagon didn't give any update yesterday, but defense officials did tell NBC News that they've essentially wiped clean the software and the equipment on that drone so that any data or sensitive information is now no longer available. It's highly unlikely that the U.S. will be able to recover this. This crashed, near Russian naval ships that patrol the Black Sea and near Russian-controlled territory in Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula. So it's probably likely the Russians will get a hold of it before the U.S. does.
All right, Dan Luce, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.